register now.
Hello, my dear children. Namaste and welcome to the very first session of our next unit, Plant Physiology for ICSE Class 10. Yes, we are getting started with the chapter Absorption by Roots. And this is Ambika, your biology master teacher, right here on this amazing platform of Vedantu. Well, guys, talking about the amazing platform, do remember to stay subscribed to this channel, Vedantu 9th and 10th English, because as you know, especially now that we are coming closer and closer towards end of the academic year, it is time to be updated, to stay updated with everything that we put up on this channel. We will keep coming up with a lot of interesting series for you, just so that your preparations, your revisions will be a lot smoother than you ever thought. Okay, so click on the subscribe button right now if you haven't done it yet. All right, and let's move on. As always, with the positive quote, mistakes are proof that you are trying. It's never a crime to commit a mistake because we're all humans, right? So mistakes are very, very natural, but it becomes a problem when you don't learn anything from it. Okay, so mistakes are only proof that you are trying. So trying is never a problem, right? Just keep trying until you succeed. Yes. And today, let us learn about the functions of roots, of course, roots and all of these simple things that we have perhaps known right since our childhood. Need of water and minerals for plants, characteristics of roots for absorbing water, overview of a few phenomena helpful in absorption. Okay. All right, getting started with what we call the root system and shoot system. Of course, ICSE Class 10 students, I know all of you know what a root system is and what a shoot system is. Definitely, everything that's below the soil, we call it the root system, right? And everything that is above the soil, we call it the shoot system. And what does it include? The stem, leaves, flowers, fruits, and enclosed seeds, if at all it's there within the fruit. Right, all of those are part of the shoot system. So we can basically summarize it this way. Root system is the underground part of a flowering plant. Shoot system is the portion above the ground. Well, actually, the root system would be the underground part of any plant for that matter, right? Not just flowering plants. All right, so now coming to the functions of roots. The functions of roots, we all know it does a lot more than just anchoring the plant in the ground. There is a lot that it can do. What all? Of course, anchoring the plant in the ground is the first and foremost function of the root system. Secondly, it also helps in taking in water and minerals. Water and minerals dissolved in it, which are all in between soil particles. They can be taken up by the plant with the help of this root system. Thirdly, to bring water and minerals up to the stems. How does it help if the water is just within the roots itself, right? Water has to be pushed to the upper parts of the plant by some mechanism. Only then it's becoming helpful to the plant, right? So with the help of xylem tissue, your roots, your plant's roots are also able to achieve that sort of function. Then, to bring prepared food from the leaves to the roots, phloem as we call it, right? Because phloem tissue, like xylem and phloem are basically what we call conducting tissues, right? Xylem helps in water and mineral transport. Phloem helps in transport of prepared food, which is the end product of photosynthesis, from the leaves to the different parts of the plant body. Okay, so this also needs a sort of interaction between the root system and the phloem tissues, obviously. And then, of course, in certain plants, it also acts as a sort of storage area for food. Okay, root vegetables and all of that, as we may call them, food storage can be a function in some plants. Okay, now coming to why plants need water and minerals in the first place. Well, there can be a lot of reasons. First of all, for photosynthesis, of course, water is used up in green leaves as a raw material in the synthesis of glucose, the process which we call photosynthesis. How does photosynthesis work? The plants are able to take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. They combine it with water, which is the ingredient they obtain from the soil, as we have just said, with the help of the root system. And in the presence of sunlight, and in the presence of chlorophyll, which is the magical pigment in plants which gives leaves its green color, the plants are able to synthesize carbohydrates, especially in the form of glucose, which is C6H12O6 glucose, and oxygen is released as a byproduct. So there are two major functions of photosynthesis. One is providing food for the plant itself and providing food for all the other organisms around the world. Secondly, oxygen, which acts as the life-sustaining gas on our planet. Well, we'll learn more about photosynthesis in the next chapter. For the time being, you just need to know why water is essential, because photosynthesis is a major physiological process in plants. Water is a major ingredient of this process. Okay, next one, transpiration. Transpiration is yet another physiological process in plants. Just like how human beings, we sweat, right? We call it perspiration. Likewise, plants carry out what we call transpiration, which is loss of water in the vapor form. Right? So how exactly does this work? You'll understand more about it in upcoming chapters as well. But then for now, just understand that a large quantity of water from a plant body does get evaporated as water vapor during transpiration. So why is it even significant? That's the question, right? It helps in cooling the plant body, especially in hot weathers, just like sweating helps cool down our bodies. Transpiration, which occurs as a result of this kind of systematic water transport, right? From the roots to the upper parts of the plant body, and from the aerial parts of the plant, it gets lost in the vapor form through the openings which we call stomata. So as a result of a process like this, cooling of the plant body in hot weathers occurs. Right. Secondly, the second advantage of transpiration is to produce a sort of suction force. Well, I'll tell you more about this later on, but then just remember that because water is getting lost from the stomata, from these upper tissues of the plant body, it continuously tries and creates a sort of vacuum, a sort of suction force to pull in more and more water from the below parts of the plant body, and hence from the soil itself, from the root itself. So this pushing up from the roots does occur, but at the same time, transpiration has a sort of pulling effect, as a result of which a continuous column of water gets maintained in the plant body. Okay, so this is about transpiration. So we've seen photosynthesis and transpiration, how water plays a major role in these two. Now, transportation. I've told you all about xylem and phloem. Xylem especially is involved in transport of water and minerals, substances in water solution, from the roots upward into the shoot, or with the help of phloem, from leaves to other parts of the plant. This is all happening with the help of a watery medium in the plant body, right? So transportation of materials requires water. Then mechanical stiffness. Now, if you have ever been the kind of person who has a nice garden, be it a few plants in your little, even if it's a balcony garden, it's all right. If you have a love for taking care of the plants that you are growing, like watering them regularly. Some plants need water on a daily basis, some of them need water only on a weekly basis, and so on, right? So if you are the kind of person who takes care of all that, you might have observed whether or not your plants' leaves are appearing hydrated or whether they are appearing drooped and then dehydrated, right? So mechanical stiffness is seen in a plant when it is full of water, or rather when a plant cell is turgid or full of water, it appears very, very healthy and mechanically stiff. This is what we mean by mechanical stiffness. If it's dehydrated, if it doesn't have enough water in it, I mean the plant cells, they don't have enough water in them, I mean they are obviously not turgid, they appear something like this, like drooped down, and hence they don't appear stiff. Right? This is what we call a healthy turgid plant. Okay. Now, coming to the characteristics of roots for absorbing water. What makes roots special? What makes them eligible to absorb water? There are three major pointers for this. First of all, roots are provided with tiny hair-like structures, which we call root hair. Okay, so root hair increases the surface area. okay, greatly increases the surface area which is exposed to everything that's lying around the roots within the soil, under the soil, right? So root hair greatly increases the surface area, just like villi inside our intestines, they greatly increase the surface area, right? This way, right? Likewise, root hair in a plant body greatly increase the surface area exposed. Secondly, root hair cells, if you actually observe them, they have got large storage vacuoles, right? They've got large vacuoles which are filled with cell sap, all sorts of fluidy contents inside the cell getting filled inside the vacuole, collected inside the vacuole, we call it the cell sap. And this cell sap within the root hair cell has got a higher concentration than its surroundings. So what do you think it's the advantage? Well, you'll understand more about it as we proceed more and more into this chapter. But for now, for starters, just remember that when there is greater solute concentration inside a cell, it means that as compared to the outside, when there is greater solute concentration inside a cell, there is tendency for the cell to draw in water naturally. Okay, more and more solute concentration inside, so less solute concentration outside. That means water naturally flows from lesser solute concentration to greater solute concentration. Okay, so hold on to that. Even if you have questions, it's all right in that point, because as I said, I will be coming back later in this chapter to explain more about that. Okay, now point number 3. They have got, root hair cells have got thin and permeable cell walls to allow water. Permeable is something that permits or allows, right? Thin and permeable cell walls which allow water to enter inside. These are the 3 major characteristics of roots for absorbing water. All right, now let's take a quick break, children. Do remember, Vedantu Pro subscription is here to help you out, regardless of whether you are just trying to improve on your knowledge or whether you are completely focused on your exams, right? We have got everything covered for you. And do remember to check out all this through a lot of fun interactive sessions. We have got unlimited live classes with fun and high-level quizzes out there for you. You get to compete with students across the world, because all students enrolled at Vedantu, regardless of where in the world, where in the country or where in the world they are, you get to compete with students across the world, so that you get to know where you stand and improve accordingly. Interactive replays with live quizzes and leaderboards, isn't that wonderful? Well, what this means is, just in case you have, say for example, missed a session, because so many sessions keep happening in a day, it's quite natural that you may miss a session or two. You have the option of watching the replay later on. But many times children are like, replays are boring because we just have to watch it like a normal video. But then we have got a solution for you for that, because the quizzes which happen in every session, you can take part in the quiz just like a live session, even if you're watching the replay. Isn't that wonderful? And that also means that you will get an opportunity to come on the leaderboard, even if you are watching the replay. Yes. And also, handwritten notes from master teachers after every single session, you get access to that. And everything, assignments, tests, and a lot of other things, doubt solving with class teachers, master teachers. And those of you who are enrolled with Vedantu for Vedantu Pro subscription will have free access to 5,000 plus micro courses, which are chapter level courses or topic level courses designed for you, and also free crash courses for competitive exams. It's not something that's separate, it comes along with it. Well, I think that makes it a complete package. Now coming to the pricing. Well, we completely believe that less is more, because more classes, lesser price. How does that work? Let me just explain that to you. But before that, remember to check out all the details. As I always tell you, remember to visit the link in the description box below and the pinned comment in the comment section below, and apply the coupon code AMBPRO to avail the best discounts we have out there. So let's now do the math for you. As I always say, children who are always regular in my sessions would know, I always say calculate the per session cost. So let's do that now. A 1 month and a 3 months and a 6 months plan for Vedantu Pro subscriptions here. 1 month would normally cost you 2,699 per month. But applying the coupon code AMBPRO would reduce it to 2,159. Okay, 3 months. For 3 months, using the coupon code AMBPRO, you end up paying only 5,599. 3 months entirely, imagine. And this includes all your subjects, okay? Not just a subject or two. For a 6 months plan, it would mean once you apply the coupon code AMBPRO, totally for unlimited sessions over 6 months, 9,199. What does that mean? Per class price or the per session price is right here for you. A 1 month plan would mean that you will get roughly 200 sessions in that entire 1 month. You will have access to about 200 sessions. So 2,159 is the total price divided by 200, which is the number of sessions, gives you the per session cost, rupees 11 per session. Can you imagine? Now, if you go ahead for 3 months plan, that's going to reduce it even further because 600 sessions that you can avail, and that would cost you 9 rupees per session. 6 months would be even lesser for you because it would be 9,199 divided by 1,200 sessions, costing you just 8 rupees per session. To imagine, this is getting even cheaper than your favorite packet of Lay's chips, isn't it? So definitely, children, if I had a child studying in high school, I would certainly have gone for this because it's what I would call a perfect balance of keeping it pocket friendly and keeping it good quality content. So children, certainly do remember to visit the link in the description box below. The coupon code you can apply is AMBPRO. Okay, now coming back, let's talk about the phenomena which help in absorption of water. There are so many phenomena. Now we have seen what makes roots special, why are water and minerals important, all of that we have seen, right? So now coming to the phenomena which help in absorbing. Okay, now before I forget, talking about importance of minerals, it's also important to keep in mind that in addition to water, minerals also play a role in all these functions like photosynthesis and respiration and all of that in plants, because just like in the case of human beings, many times iron deficiency, calcium deficiency, all that becomes a problem for us, right? Likewise, in a plant body, if there is a deficiency or a shortage of any mineral nutrient, say for example magnesium, deficiency of magnesium or manganese or something like that, it would lead to some kind of deficiency. Sufficient chlorophyll might not be produced, which means leaves might appear yellow and not green, and so on. It might appear drooped down. A lot of other deficiency symptoms can be seen in plants also. That is another importance of minerals. Okay, let's talk about the different phenomena which help in the absorption process, starting with what we call imbibition. Okay, now imbibition is a phenomenon by which living or dead plant cells absorb water by surface attraction. Now, if you have ever observed, if you live in a wet place, like for example, Kerala has got a lot of monsoons, and there are many other parts of India. I think Bengal also has a lot of monsoon, like heavy monsoon. Karnataka, some parts of Karnataka, Goa, and all of that also. So these people might, I mean, other places also, of course, but I'm just giving you examples. If at all you have observed that in the monsoon or the rainy season, your doors, like wooden doors and windows, if at all they are there at home, they may appear a little jammed. You may find it a little difficult to shut them completely because they seem to have grown up, swollen up. That's actually not growing up. The cells which are part of that wood, they have taken up the water of the rains, and this is an example of imbibition, imbibing and swelling up. Once again, read the definition. It's a phenomenon by which living or dead plant cells absorb water by surface attraction. It's just falling on the surface of that cell, and the plant and the cell and the plant cell, dead or living plant cell, is just absorbing it. This is an example of what we call imbibition. Imbibition is very, very important as far as a root hair cell is concerned, because the root hair cell, when it first comes in contact, imagine this is a root hair, okay? There would be a cell in it. When it first comes in contact with a water drop, it would get absorbed by the process of imbibition. So this is phenomenon 1. Next is phenomenon 2, which is diffusion. Diffusion, I think everyone knows. Think about any example that you know about, maybe putting a drop of ink in a glass of water or a beaker of water. You would see that within a few seconds or within a few minutes, the entire solution has turned blue because the ink drop has basically diffused across that solution, right? That is an example of diffusion. Okay, now it's just one example around you, one common example around you. But diffusion can happen in any medium, solid, liquid, gas, anything. So as far as plants are concerned, or in general, as far as the definition of diffusion is concerned, we can define it as you see in this representation: the free movement of water molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration during direct contact. In the example which I told you, contact between the ink molecules and the water molecules. The ink is spreading across and diffusing entirely until they become uniformly spread, right? So this is also important for various kinds of transport inside a plant body. Diffusion, be it gases or water or anything, diffusion is very, very important. But in this chapter, we are mainly concerned about water and mineral transport. Okay, now coming to something very similar, yet a little different: osmosis. The phenomenon by which water molecules move from area of their higher concentration to an area of their lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. That point is very, very, very important. Semi-permeable membrane. Without the word semi-permeable membrane, the definition of osmosis is incomplete. Always remember this. And osmosis is also different from diffusion in the sense that in osmosis, we are specifically talking about water, movement of water molecules from a region of their higher concentration, which means wherever water molecules are higher in concentration, from there to wherever water is lower in concentration, okay, across a semi-permeable membrane. Now, what is a semi-permeable membrane? A membrane, any membrane which allows only certain substances to pass through and not everything to pass through. For example, our cell membrane or the plasma membrane is a very good example of a semi-permeable membrane. In all eukaryotic cells, the cell membrane is supposed to be semi-permeable in nature. Okay, so again, imbibition, diffusion, osmosis also is very, very important as far as uptake of water by the roots is concerned. Now coming to yet another kind of phenomenon, which is active transport. Now active transport, like the name indicates, it is very, very active in the sense, what it does is, now in diffusion, what happens is, from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration, movement naturally occurs, right? This normally occurs. Like even if you are, imagine that you are riding a bicycle along a slopey area. When you are going downhill from a place at an elevated position, somewhere down the slope this way, you don't really have to even pedal. You will automatically move with the flow, right? That is an example of diffusion. Say, for example, you don't have to spend any extra energy there. It naturally happens. Whereas, when you are riding the cycle uphill, you have to spend some extra energy, right? That is because you are going against gravity, correct? So you have to spend some extra energy. You have to be really active. So active transport also is a kind of transport in plant bodies. There is active transport in all living organisms. Right now we are concerned about plants, okay? So active transport is the phenomenon wherein there is passage of substances from lower concentration to higher concentration. Can you imagine? If that has to occur, obviously it doesn't naturally occur like the uphill riding the cycle example which I told you. There has to be energy expenditure. Very, very, very important. Using energy from the cell. That is why it's called active, because active has to strike the bell to you when you're writing this in your exam. It means energy. The opposite of active transport would be passive transport, like the case of diffusion, right? Okay, so I think this animation, this simple animation here also makes it very clear to you. From wherever those tiny green molecules are lower in concentration, from there to where they are in higher concentration, it's moving, but at the cost of energy. All right, so that is active transport. Now there are a couple of other terms that you have to know: turgidity and flaccidity. Now, turgidity is the term used to represent the condition of a cell, of a plant cell, when the plant cell is completely filled with water. Remember, I told you about watering the plants? Yes. Turgidity is when a plant cell accommodates maximum amount of water. Okay. Flaccidity is a little different from that. I mean, very different from that. I wouldn't say completely dried up or dehydrated, but then flaccidity is the term used when the cell content is sort of shrunken, kind of dehydrated. It loses water. There is some kind of intake, but then there is more water which is getting lost. As a result, plant cells can become flaccid as well. Remember, turgidity and flaccidity. Now, why is it even important in this context? You will understand more about it in our upcoming sessions. Okay, these are the terms which I wanted to introduce you to. Okay, so now it's time to have a quick check. Let's see how much of all this you have understood. Ready, guys? Okay, the process by which water gets evaporated as water vapor in plants is called transportation, transpiration, condensation, osmosis. Yes, very, very easy. ICSE class 10 students, certainly you must be ready with the answer by now, and your time is up. Of course, it's transpiration. Next question. Roots absorb dash. Water only, minerals only, water and mineral nutrients, sugars. Now I'll be able to judge if you have listened to me today or if you have not. And your time is up. Of course, it's going to be water and mineral nutrients. Remember, xylem plays a major role in this transport. Now, concentration of cell sap in root hairs is dash. Higher than the surrounding water. Pay careful attention, okay? This is a little trickier than the previous couple of questions. Second option is equivalent to the surrounding water. Third is lower than the surrounding water. And the fourth is dissolved in surrounding water. Concentration of cell sap in root hairs is dash. And your time is up. The answer is higher than the surrounding water. When I just say concentration, now not just me, in biology in general, whenever we say concentration of a solution, we are talking about solute concentration in that particular solution. Okay, so remember, as I told you, if this is the root hair cell, it's got a huge vacuole within which there is a highly concentrated cell sap. When there is a huge solute concentration inside the cell sap, what happens? Naturally, it draws in water by osmosis. Okay, yes, so this is why naturally, concentration of cell sap inside the root hair cells is higher than that of the surrounding water. And now coming to the next question. Which statement is true about root hair cell walls? Cell wall is thick and impermeable. Cell wall is thick and permeable. Cell wall is thin and impermeable. Or the cell wall is thin and permeable. Thick impermeable, thick permeable, thin impermeable, or thin permeable. These are the options for you about root hair cell walls. Yes, and your time is up. The answer is the cell wall is thin and permeable. Remember, it's the cell membrane which is semi-permeable, but the cell wall is completely permeable, almost entirely permeable. Yes, so very, very well done, children. Absolutely well done if you have got all the questions right. If at all you haven't, doesn't matter at all. Just go back, watch the replay, get your concepts clear, and then come and attend the next session. Okay, that's what is going to help you become better in this chapter. Well, let me remind you that you now know about the functions of roots, need of water and minerals for plants, characteristics of roots for absorbing water, and an overview of the major phenomena helpful in absorption. What have we discussed under that? Imbibition, diffusion, osmosis, active transport, turgidity, and flaccidity. These are the major terms we have discussed under these phenomena. And now coming to the homework question. Name 5 mineral nutrients which are essential for plant growth. Okay? Any five mineral nutrients which are essential for plant growth. Right. So remember to visit, children, the link in the description box below and the pinned comment as well. And apply the coupon code AMBPRO, because Vedantu Pro subscription, it's not a joke. Certainly something that will complete your preparation for exams. So children, if you have enjoyed this session and found it useful, click on the like button right now, because that's the best way of letting us know that you want more and more sessions like these. And do not hesitate to share it with any of your ICSE Class 10 friends, because I always believe sharing is caring. Gone are the days when you thought, okay, I should keep all my study materials a secret. I shouldn't let my friends, I shouldn't let my enemies know where I'm studying from. No, we always believe that sharing is caring, especially when it comes to educational material, okay? And stay subscribed to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Click on the subscribe button right now. And remember, stress busters are also always available. So you can follow me on my official Instagram page, Ambika_Vedantu, where in addition to a lot of educational academic posts, we also put up a lot of moral story posts so that you can get quick breaks, 1 minute or 2 minute breaks from your busy schedule. Right, children? So that's about it from my side. Until we meet again, stay home, stay happy, stay healthy. And this is Ambika signing off. Bye-bye.